So, what's going on social media? And wanted to say hi to everyone. And Jen, can you? Looks like you need. Yep, there you go.
Here I am.
So
Sorry
Jen's got the
about
music
that.
playing in the background. So
Yeah.
anyway, so today it's just us. So it's just Jennifer and I, and we thought we could talk a little about relationship as we continue this journey with Bottoms Up, talking about relationship, a big part. Her and I are married, so marriage is definitely the ultimate relationship because you got to wake up to that person every single day. So let's talk a little about marriage, as we continue our series. So Jen, I'll let you introduce yourself to the audience who might not know us. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Jen Kwok. For those who don't know me yet, you will soon. No, I'm just joking. Yes, so I actually work with Kevin with J29 Creative Group. I'm the business development manager at J29 Creative. I also help to co-found the BottomsUp Perspective, but I focus more on the female aspect. And absolutely love the people that we're connected to. Hi, Jeanette, and all the lovely people that we have met through the Bottoms Up Perspective. It has been the most amazing experience in my life, I have to say. And so just super glad to be here tonight and to be connected to all of you and to be connected to Kevin. So I don't know if I can do my little heart. There we go. So.
Hey, what's up, Gabe? Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. We can't talk about marriage without the love tornado. So thanks for hopping on the show. Look at this, Ashish. We haven't seen you forever. How are you doing, brother?
I think we call him Ice Baby, right?
Ice Baby. So, and I am not going to sing in this episode.
I don't know. I'll try to get him to, but.
So Jen, tell them about my singing.
So Kevin's singing, for his mom at least, raises hairs on the arm. She gets chills, and they're not a good chill whenever he sings. I personally like his singing, but that's because I love him. So I think I've got some rose colored, not glasses. What would you call them for the ears?
So yes. Jen and I, we've been married for, is it 11 years now?
12 years this December.
12 years. So this December. And we've gone through from her seeing me working my corporate job all the way to working in the kitchen just to survive to being a business owner. So let's talk a little about this. Jen, what is it like being married to someone like me?
Oh. By the way, I did not know the questions he's asking ahead of time, so I'm a little caught off guard here. But being married to Kevin Kwok is quite interesting. I have to say, the other day I told him that that of course this is forever. We're going to be together forever because my life would be so boring without Kevin Kwok. And I'm not just saying that. Like, he can come up with the craziest things to do as a family or as a couple. He doesn't like to sit still. He's constantly moving. If he's not working, he is out working on the yard. I would describe you probably as having more of an A-type personality. Excuse me. Very driven, very motivated. He works when he's sick, which drives me nuts because I just want him to get some rest. And let's see, what else about you? What's something else about you? He's super serious, but he knows how to have fun. We're very opposite, so we drive each other crazy. I'm more of like the chill pill, take your time. It's okay sometimes to procrastinate. It's okay to relax. And he's like the complete opposite. Let's get it done. It's messed up. Let's fix it right away. So we're very opposite. So sometimes we love that about each other, and sometimes he definitely drives me crazy. But yeah, what else do you want me to say? You're super creative. Do you want me to keep bragging on you?
No.
He's super handsome. Um,
Just to her.
but that's
But
just my opinion.
but
Yeah.
when it comes to, relationships, right? A lot of people say opposites attract, and for sure Jennifer is the complete opposite of me. So she is very relaxed. There can be a fire outside and she would just take her time to gather her stuff while I'll probably grab all my stuff really quick and get out there. So we're complete opposites. She doesn't really stress over much. She gets stressed, but she is very chill, very laid back. She's the social butterfly in the family. She can talk to. There's no strangers when it comes to Jennifer. She can just talk to about anyone, and sometimes she can talk to people for hours. And I'm like, all right, we got somewhere to go. So we're complete opposites. So when it comes to relationships, right? We both have different upbringing. So it definitely makes marriage challenging. And when you add a business to the mix and children, it's just an ingredient for disaster. So we have some questions here. So Jeremy C said, what issues causes both of us to fight the most? So I'll tell you. So I am a perfectionist, Jeremy. So I like things really clean. I can't relax at home if it's not clean. And people know who work with me too. I like my office, my desk at work clean. I like my desktop, literally the screen to be clean. I can't stand like a bunch of, icons everywhere. And so for me, sometimes Jennifer can be a little too laid back. And I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm very driven. I'm like, let's get things done. Let's get things done now. Not procrastinate, not 2 days from now, not 3 days from now, but right now.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of our fights and arguments stem from just opposites, polar opposites. She wants to procrastinate. I want it done now. And then I get upset. She gets upset with me because she thinks I'm too intense. It's like, you don't have to have everything now. So it does create some tension. So let's hear from you, your views.
Definitely that is a big factor in why we fight. I think one of the biggest things for me is, and it could be not only a personality thing, but a cross-cultural thing, is that Kevin was raised not only doing everything right now, but constantly being taught or chided on how you should do something the right way. So yes, there's definitely better ways to do things. But I sometimes get frustrated with Kevin, and I usually don't tell people this. So this is kind of interesting to be on here telling this. But Kevin likes to teach. So I'm like, I'm a mature 41-year-old.
I like to coach.
Yes, but so he used to say, I want to teach you. I need to teach you. Let me teach you how to make this fried rice. Well, you've already taught me enough times because I've been married to you for almost 12 years. So I don't need it. I get super annoyed because I know sometimes I'm not perfect and I don't do things right, or I know that there's sometimes better ways to do things. And I should be willing to learn. But if someone is always trying to teach you, well, he switched recently from teach to show. I want to show you how to do this. And so that is really hard for me because I grew up with a lot of constructive criticism. Americans don't like to be criticized. And I try to be humble because I understand that can, help help us to grow as people, and that we are supposed to sharpen one another. We're supposed to learn from one another. But it literally drives me crazy. And sometimes I just want him to just walk away. Just walk away, brother. Just walk away.
So Eldrick asked, why are you talking about death already? Because the title is Till Death Do Us Part. So
Eldrick.
Hey, we thought it would
Hi,
be
Eldrick.
It's a fun topic, right?
And
it's
thank
just
you, Ashish, for the congratulations. We didn't say that. Go ahead.
Yep. So it's just a fun title, I guess. So when it comes to marriage, I guess we went in thinking that, hey, when it comes to marriage, it's a commitment. And Jen and I both believe marriage is forever. So for us, there's no other way of doing it. So that's why till death do us part. Yep.
They say in marriage, if you bring up the divorce word a lot, that you're just kind of giving and I know that there's a place for that, so I'm not undermining it. But if you allow that in your mind, then that's an easy escape sometimes from dealing with certain issues that could be dealt with. And that's not to say that there's not issues that maybe can't be worked out, or that one is not willing to do that. But both of us went in with like, hey, we're going to do this forever thing. Like we want to, go into eternity, but being married to each other.
Hey, but I think it's good since there's a lot of professionals on the platform, because a lot of our following are on LinkedIn. It comes down to this. You do not start a business planning to fail. I mean, no one ever goes, oh, let's go start a business and let's plan for it to fail. Most people hope that, hey, it works out and you make money. And, it can be a lasting business, that thrive, and maybe one day you'll sell it. It's the same thing with marriage. You set yourself up for failure. You probably shouldn't get married if you already see all these red flags and issues prior, or if you're not ready, then it's probably good to not make that commitment. Because when it comes to marriage, it's definitely a commitment. You're committed to that other person. It says, through sickness or in good health, you're pretty much, as a contract, you're together. And you just learn to work things out. And no marriage is perfect. And like I said earlier, when you add children and entrepreneurship to the mix, right? Yeah. It definitely makes it challenging. And for us, we not only are partners in life, but we're partners in our business and everything we do. I work with her as well. And, we don't always see eye to eye. And a lot of people say, hey, it's challenging to work with your spouse. And it is. But at the same time, I think what has helped is she's also my best friend. So it's funny because sometimes people will share things with me. Even staff members or people might share things with me, like I don't talk with my wife. But the truth is, I share everything with her. So if you're talking to me, you might as well talk to Jen too, because a lot of what people tell me, I do share with her so that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So Eldrick just asked if we talk business at home. We definitely talk business. Ask Jen.
I'll just tell you this, Aldrich. He can talk business. If I didn't stop him, it would be a nonstop business talk. We sometimes, he used to wake up at 2 a.m, or he would just still be awake at 2, and I would roll over and he's like, oh, good, you're awake, and start talking business. Or sometimes he wouldn't let me go to sleep until 2 because he's talking business. So yes, we talk business a lot. But I have to say, even though sometimes, I don't like talking business all the time, I do enjoy listening a lot to him. I've learned a lot from him. I think it's helped me to mature in areas, that in things that I didn't understand. And I'm learning new things all the time as we take this journey together. So absolutely, like, I support him fully. You know, I've got his back. He's got my back. And we definitely, he bounces stuff off of me. I bounce stuff off of him in regards to business and people that we're dealing with every day and situations that come up. So all the time.
Well, I
Yes,
think
all the
you
time.
just naturally talk business when you're married, and if you work the business together, it's very much a part of our life. It's the way we feed our family, the way we survive, the way that we can do the things we enjoy. Without the business, it's impossible. And we both understand that. When we started the business, she encouraged me to do it. I was doing my corporate 8 to 5. And during that time, it was one of those things. I've owned past businesses before, went through a bankruptcy, different things. And, sometimes you just need someone to kick you in the butt and encourage you to get back out there. And at the time, just from my upbringing, I'm all about calculated risk. So the calculations didn't make sense. We didn't have a lot of savings at the time. We had our first child and we're getting ready for our second child. We started talking about, hey, maybe you're made to be an entrepreneur. Why don't you do it? And at the same time, I was like, man, we have a second baby on the way. It's just not good timing. And she really encouraged me to, hey, put yourself out there. A good wife, needs to encourage you, and be behind their men, and not only behind their men, let's say they need to run together, and for us, it was always about doing it together, same momentum. If it's something Jennifer's not comfortable with, I don't do it. We communicate, and that's one of the keys. And I think that's what's made it work. And even with this business, when starting it up, she encouraged me to do it, but at the same time, she believed in me. And she said, hey, even if we fail, we'll figure things out together and we'll always just survive because we got one another. And that's huge encouragement for a man, just knowing that, your wife supports you. No matter the situation, if you lose everything, like, hey, we're going to make it together. And I was an entrepreneur when I was single, and I've owned businesses then. And I can say for me personally, I think is much better with a wife because the entrepreneur journey is super lonely. I mean, a lot of times you wake up and you feel alone. The people you talk to, you don't know who you can trust all the time and who's in it with ulterior motives. People talk bad about you when they don't even know you. People don't know your heart and how you feel. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, you just want to share that. And when you're single, you don't know who to share it with. But because Jen is my best friend, I know it's a safe place for me to share my heart. And she's always going to give me the truth. And that's something, it really depends on the marriage. And like Darlene said, communication and support is huge in a marriage. And in any relationship, communication is key. When one party doesn't communicate, that's where misunderstanding starts happening, because you start assuming, and I think that's why a lot of modern marriages don't work too, because a lot of people, can't communicate nowadays,
trusting each other. I think one thing too, Kevin, is knowing your spouse. A woman should encourage her spouse in what he's good at. So, not everybody is made. I personally believe, this is just my opinion. We're on the Perspective show. So I personally believe not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Not everybody is good at everything. And so it's knowing who your spouse is and what their potential is and helping them to be the best that they can be, encouraging them to step out and do what they're good at, so that they can be successful. I mean, you don't want to set your spouse up for failure. If they go down, so do you. So it's not about I don't mean that in a selfish way. I just mean if we rise together because we work as a team, and both doing what we're good at. So definitely don't encourage your spouse to go out and start a business if you're not sure that they can, that they have what it takes to be able to do that. But if you know that they are gifted in that way, then you can be a big blessing to them and encourage them.
And don't go into business if your marriage isn't healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is going to be an ingredient to failing both in life and in business. And I see a lot of people do that. You don't have a healthy marriage and you go start a business. You're just asking for a headache. And usually those marriages end up not doing well. It's either the business or the marriage. So you choose your battles. And when it comes to the wife encouraging the husband, that I think is also for the men out there, we need to make our wives secure as well. Men needs to let, you want your wife to trust you, then you need to be trustworthy. You need to show love in your home. You need to put your family first, because those are the things that's going to help, your wife want to encourage you. And it's okay for men, to cry, to have weaknesses, to ask for help. And I think we grow up in this society, we all need to be superheroes. When you're men, you're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be Thor. But that's not true. A man needs to be sensitive as well. And Darlene asks, what is your ideal date night?
Kevin? I think for us, for a while, because it's hard to get away from the kids at certain times in our life where we didn't have anybody to watch them, or times when we were just starting out in business and we didn't have a lot, to think about paying somebody, or we didn't have family close by. There's been times where this is not my ideal date night, so I will answer that. But there's been times where even just being able to get away and go to Walmart late at night while the kids were sleeping and grandma was there or something like that has sometimes been really fun.
Well, I think with this pandemic, anything's an ideal date night.
Yeah.
Because right now, we're with our kids, 24/7.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep them entertained, isn't it? But I think when let's say like pre-pandemic, when there wasn't really anything to worry about with all that, what would you say we like to do? I think we like to eat out. We like to shop.
Yeah, we like to eat out. I think I like to shop more than you like to shop.
Oh,
so I don't know if that's an ideal date night, because I think you end up getting tired of me shopping.
That's true. I do a lot online, but I am shopping, but it's online.
I think, for us, it's really a nice dinner and just being able to chat, talk without the kids interrupting. And then we both like, new spots, like new coffee shops, new restaurants, and just being present is the main thing. That's an ideal date night, when we don't have our cell phones distracting us or the business.
I think one of the most healthiest things, though, for our marriage that we ever did, and it wasn't just a date night, it was actually a getaway, was Kevin and I got away to California for 6 days. We went to LA and left the kids with the grandparents and just hit every beach along the coast. So that was super refreshing to get to experience something different with just him, because we're so used to having the kids, always around us needing something. I think another thing that really was sweet was getting to travel to Cambodia with him. Again, that was right before the pandemic happened. I think it was like in October or something, before it all started. So when we went to Cambodia on business, and also to check out some really cool things that are happening there in ministry. Just getting Kevin is like he's a 5-star hotel guy. So when he says clean, he means like really clean. Okay. Not just like, not just kind of picked up, but just really clean. He prefers it that way so he can relax. And so, when we went to Cambodia, I've lived in third world countries. So to get to see him like deal with different scenarios, like, there was some children playing in piles of trash, and we went to some really rundown areas, but it was such an amazing experience, and they were wonderful people, and I'm so glad that we got to go. But getting to see him in those different scenarios and how he handled it, I literally took wipies and wiped down the hotel bathroom or pot just so that he could like feel very comfortable with there. I brought like a medicine cabinet, so in case he got sick. But it really was so wonderful to get to see him in that.
So Eldrick said, question, is it sad that couples are staring at their phones when they're having dinner together? Like to hear your viewpoints.
You want the truth, Aldrich, or you want me to get Kevin, you can go first.
Yeah, I think it's definitely sad. And we catch ourselves doing that as well because, one, for me, my business technically is 24/7 if I choose so. But it's learning to be able to really be present and putting that phone down. One of the biggest things I've done since COVID is really on weekends, I hardly pick up the phone. And that's probably why you aren't seeing much LinkedIn content on Saturdays and Sundays, because I want to be present. I think nowadays you have to be intentional. It is very addictive. And I tell Jen this, not every email, not every text, not every call has to be answered or respond right away. We live in this world that wants this instant gratification. If a client has a problem, they want it now, but sometimes the problem is not that bad. It's not an emergency. It can wait. And people have to learn to wait. And it's almost like training your pets to wait. You can also train your clientele to wait. If you're always I used to be like this because I thought it's good customer service, but it's not necessarily. You also have a life, and your clientele needs to respect your time. Your business partnerships needs to respect your time. Or maybe they shouldn't be your clients because they have to understand, hey, only if it's an emergency. It isn't necessary after business hours to contact you. It isn't necessary to reach out to you at midnight. There's a time and place for that. And even on the weekends. So when Aldrich says, hey, couples looking at their phone all the time, it's definitely a reality and it's sad. But also we can intentionally not set those phones down and give each other attention.
I have to say, Kevin, I definitely agree with you as far as there has to be a lot of times where you're intentional, like if you're with your family, to put your phone down and really give attention to the children, or if you're on a date night, really feeding that emotional connection between you two, and spending time with each other. Showing that you value the other person. But we've also had really sweet times where we weren't out on a date, and he needed to be on the phone, or we're just both tired, so we're just sitting side by side, close together, looking at our phones. Like he's looking at his, I'm looking at mine. I think that's okay at times, because I still felt a closeness to him. I knew he had some things he wanted to research, and so I just looked at my own things, but we're still there together. But there's definitely times you got to put it up. You just have to say, hey, you're worth more than what I want to do, or, what I want to look at. So
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's no different than, I guess, back in the days when people actually go to bookstores, on dates. You go to a library, you go to Barnes and Nobles, and you both pick up your favorite book and you look at it. And then you sit across each other and have your favorite cup of coffee. And you can call that date night. So you can do that. But I think there's a time and place for the phone. And hey, and to answer Jeremy's question, I mean, sometimes the phone is part of what steams up arguments as well, because the other party wants that attention and you're giving it to your phone instead of your spouse. And that can be very frustrating. Or if you're trying to talk and, their attention's not there, so.
The bad thing is it's actually good and bad. There's a positive and negative to it. I don't know if all psychologists would recommend this, or marriage counselors, but I know that Kevin has the phone in front of his face most of the time, at least during the work week, because he has to answer emails or answer the team, figure stuff out logistically. And so if we're mad at each other, he's going to get a text or a Skype from me, because I've learned that through the phone, we can at least talk it out without all the overwhelming emotion that can get involved. I force him to hear me out. And he'll normally respond because he can't stand to not respond. And so then we go back and forth until we kind of worked it out and the emotions are out of the way. And then we can talk face to face after that, So I've actually found the phone to be very useful tool for me to communicate with my husband and to work out our differences or arguments.
Because sometimes you can put it in writing and express yourself better than two angry people trying to talk it out, with each other, because you both are defensive and you both have you want to get your piece out, right? So when you're writing it down in text or Skype, you for sure get all of it, so.
Yeah, because what happens is sometimes it escalates. So one gets a little louder and then the other one tries to top that one and get a little louder. And, and we want to, we desire to keep it healthy for our kids, because they certainly don't enjoy it, if we argue. So,
yeah. So we can start doing social conflict resolution for married couples, utilizing social media tools.
Yeah, so. One goes and sits on the pot in the bathroom, the other one lays in bed, and you work it out. And then you can come together.
So Jeremy C. just asked, what would you like the other to do more of for you and less of for you?
I can definitely answer this at least at first. Okay. So the first thing that comes to my mind, and
Jeremy C's doing marriage counseling for Jen and I.
That's right. Jeremy's our intermediate. I would definitely say that this is a cultural difference. I think Kevin can attest to it. Kevin shows a lot of love through actions. And sometimes he can also bring kind words, but I think if I could have more of the, as an American, I enjoy more compliments and
more emojis, more emojis, Jeremy.
Yeah. More sweet words instead of, let me teach you, I'm helping you, I'm making you a better person. I think that the way the Asians show love is, less physical, less hugging, less touching, but some women actually prefer, some more hugs or cuddling or things like that. So Kevin overall really does meet my needs, and I do feel loved by him, but I think hearing more soft-spoken, kind words are nice. Compliments is what I'm talking about. What would I want less of? Less teaching. He is getting better. He's really balanced out because he understands, that his upbringing is very different than mine. And so we just try to, I try to be more humble to learn from him, and he tries to not teach me everything so that I can feel semi-smart.
Well, I learned from her too. So, but
Okay, no, it's your turn. I was just being honest, like what I want more of and what I would prefer to have less of.
no, and then for me to answer this question, I guess it's the opposite, less words and more action.
That's awesome.
So I think it's, and Jeremy and Eldrick, you can probably attest to this. I think we're the perfect, right? East meets West, right? When it comes to bottoms up perspective, because we're from two different upbringing, complete different cultures. The U.S. American culture, I think we can all say, is the Disney World fairy tale. The knight or the guy always gets, even the worst story, like Shrek, is still a happy ending, right? I come from a culture where you have the couple fights to get together really hard, and then at the end, everyone just dies, So it's like the opposite, right? So there is some tension when it comes to when you come from two different cultures. You see things different. Like my idea of encouragement sometimes is my mom kicking me in the butt and go, okay, just get up and just do it. Stop talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I have to say though, if I were to choose between actions and words, I would definitely rather have the actions, because I know through his actions that he loves me. But there's just still that, being raised in my culture, there's still that thing that just sometimes desires hearing those sweet words. So we are absolute polar opposites. I would say that there are things that we both enjoy, like he said, coffee culture. I enjoy, how he dresses, or, the fashion sense, and how he decorates, because he's a great interior designer. And so we always work together on that. And I really enjoy his styles. Even though I wasn't raised with those styles, I love them. But I would say overall, everything is opposite other than that.
Yep, it is. And I think what's really nice is she's also helped me realize, where I am maybe a little OCD or a little extreme regards to being intense. And so, I mean, there was a time in my life I was a perfectionist, and I just go. There's really no like resting or stopping, or, when I'm determined to do something, I just go, definitely a type A. And she's helped me just have fun, laugh a little bit, relax,
What am I, like a type G?
I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't even know what type I am.
Type G for good times.
I have a lot of unlocked potential going on here. Okay, so we're working on it, but yeah. But I definitely know that there's times where I wouldn't really prefer to do something, but in order to spare an argument or spare the gentle wrath of Kevin, I just do it. I just don't. I've learned. It's
horrible.
No, you're actually a wonderful person, but I've learned where to, where I can cut out arguments that aren't necessary, because the more you get to know a person, you know what they need or what they expect, or what they would like from you. And so, yeah.
Oh, my cousin. How are you doing, Julia?
Hi, Julia.
It sounds like you respect one another's differences, which is key to gluing a marriage together. And of course, laughing. Yep, for sure. Laughing is huge, And I think one part of, that makes our marriage work. And I know we're here on social media, on LinkedIn platform, but for us, right, for our marriage, it's God center. So we do believe in, we are Christians, and we don't hide it from anyone, and
we believe in
we believe in love, God. We have faith, and I think that helps a lot because there's more to our marriage than just being married to each other. It's God center. Mm-hmm. So we definitely, everything we do, we pray about it. We seek God, and that's where it all started. That's how, when we met each other, we were both in the time in our life where we both were seeking out, what God has planned for us. And, hence J29 Creative Group, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans not to harm you, but give you hope in the future. So we founded our entire company based on, a Bible verse. And that's actually a verse that we utilize in our wedding, since we dated.
Because it meant something it meant something separately, even before we met. It was crazy though. I mean, it was just kind of a whirlwind when we met, because I was going, what is the meaning of life and what's next for me? I feel like I'm at this place where I can't grow anymore by myself. I remember thinking that in my mind, there is nothing in my life right now that's going to help me to grow any more than where I'm at. I feel like I've stopped and I'm stagnant. I'm like, what's the meaning of life? And God said, Kevin Kwok. And he just dropped him. And I just dropped the mic and I ran after him. And my life has been wonderful ever since. It hasn't always been easy, but it has been wonderful. We've had some really great times together, and we've had ups and downs. So, it's funny because sometimes our friends will call us with different issues, and we're just like, dude, that's marriage. That's like so normal.
We have the same issues too. And when it comes to marriage, I think you have to fight for it. I always say, people make it like, when you're younger, it's like, that puppy love, right? Every day you wake up, you choose to love. It's just like business, when I first started the business, I was super excited about it. I want to go to the office, it was new. It was brand new. 7 years later, I have to say, there's days I wake up and I have to choose to go to work. I'm not super excited about it. I have to choose to be present, at my company. It's not exciting because now I wake up, I walk in, and boom, I open my email, and it's just like thousands of emails with problems that I have to address, and it's the same with marriages. The longer you've been married, sometimes there's more issues to address, for both of you, and you have to choose to love. You have to choose to fight through. You have to choose to pick your battles, and you have to choose, like, how do you make that flame spark again? And it's a choice. And every day we make choices in our lives, and we have to remember that. And since, we're here, it's hard when you have a business is like a baby. It's literally another child. Trying to grow a business is intense. There's are days you are just strained after a full day of work and trying to make a living. Mm-hmm. And then you go home and you're not the most exciting spouse to be around. And you have to choose sometimes to put on that happy face or that happy thought. But sometimes, as a spouse too, as a wife, what helps me is Jennifer asks me how I'm doing, because she is interested in me, mm-hmm. And I know for some marriages, you go home after a long days of work, and then now your wife is griping at you and trying to get you to go do this or X, Y, Z. So think about those things. You just have to learn the dynamics of your home and how to work it out. And we're no marriage expert. I mean, there's days we fight. There's days we say very mean things to each other.
We know how to push each other's buttons. We know how to manipulate each other. So we have to be really careful about that. And just the other thing is different people feel love different ways. Different people receive love different ways. And so you have to figure out who is my spouse and study them and learn what makes them feel loved. What do they need from me in order to feel that love? Do you
so Eldrick
to work
said
long hours as opposed to getting home?
I think nowadays, if Jen goes out to the office, I think she chooses to work longer hours.
Oh, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you have to adult every day, I think that, Kevin may not choose to work longer hours, but if you're only working sometimes and you really want to, to be that adult out mingling with other adults and doing different things and kind of get a breather from the beautiful children, then yes, I do choose longer hours sometimes. And also to miss traffic. I don't like driving in traffic. So
I think there was a time in my life that I enjoy working the longer hours. But now I think this pandemic has really changed my thought process. And it's been a really sweet time just being home. And I get to actually see what goes on at home because I'm at the office so much. And being able to see how fast my children grow and how much I miss out when I'm always working has really changed the way I look at working longer hours. Instead, I figure out, so I came from an engineering background, software engineering. So I'm always looking at processes and efficiency. So I don't think it's always the hustle mentality of working longer hours or doing more, but figuring how to work smarter and become more efficient, and also leveraging a team. Being able to trust, just like marriage, you trust each other. You also have to trust your team members at work to carry, the load that you shouldn't always have to carry all by yourself. So it's being able to delegate, being able to use software tools, being able to see the big picture. And I think looking back, I'm a smarter business owner 7 years later than when I was during my early days when I thought you just work hard and longer hours. I find it satisfying to work, but at the same time, it's very satisfying to know that no matter how much money or how successful you are, at the end of the day, you can be the most lonely person if you don't have anyone around you. And for me, just having the family, having a wife that loves me and the kids, I always say, it's sad to see some of these older people. They have everything that the world calls success, but then their children grow up and they don't want anything to do with them because they never invested in their children. And I don't want to be that person. So, yep.
We've actually come across some elderly people like that, and they're so lonely. And they're actually wonderful people. That's what's sad. They're wonderful people. So,
yep. Well, since we're on here, let's talk a little about before we end tonight's show. We have some good questions, and let's talk about Jen. What would you say has helped us regards to just balancing work and life?
I would say respect. Respecting each other's desires and boundaries. Aldrich. Okay, just a minute on that one. But yeah, just having respect. Communication has been a big one of, me speaking out my needs or my expectations, questioning you on stuff, and then you doing the same for me. I think that that's helped. We're holding each other accountable on, hey, I would really like if you're able to be home by this time, or hey, this is going on with our kids, he needs your attention, or there's just different things that we've communicated, or you've told me, hey, this is very important, I have to meet this client on this at night, or on a Saturday. And so just communication and respect, just really caring about one another's what we need as individuals, but also what the family needs.
Ooh, they're just throwing us questions. So how does retirement look like for both of you? So Eldrick, investing in my sons, they're going to take care of me. No, I'm just teasing you. So I'm a firm believer, Eldrick, for myself, that I don't depend on anyone. I don't like to, because I've experienced it where, it's a burden when you have to also take care of your parents or different things like that. And so for me, it's always not only saving, but also investing and then looking into the future. Like for me, it's always building different businesses that not only for the now, right? Having a game plan for how can I create businesses that doesn't require my attention, and where it can still. Okay, so regards to business, you have to have that first pocket of change, and if you're like me, I didn't come from a rich family. I didn't come from, I wasn't handed a silver spoon. So it's all based on working hard and creating that first pocket of change. But once you have that change, now you can take that change and make smart decisions to multiply that pocket of change. Then when it comes to, hey, when you finally get that pocket of change, and if you're like me later on in your life, let's say mid-30s, or, now you have to make sure that that pocket of change accelerates a lot quicker, because now you have a shorter time to multiply that money. So for me, it's always looking at business vehicles, because I think the return is the quickest out of everything. Right. But then, of course, you also have to invest in things that are safe as well. So I do have a strategy for my retirement, and I'll let Jennifer speak to that as well.
I honestly, with the retirement portion, I'm just following you. I mean, you've shared some different things, and I have thought about it and agreed with it, and we're just following that plan. So I don't, I think it is what it is. I think everybody has what they would love for their retirement to look like, but it just it depends on what you're able to do. So
yep, and also yep, for the audience out there, hey, Eldrick just posted a link. Be sure to subscribe to Substack. It's digital. So with BottomsUp Perspective, we started, pretty much a newsletter. It's not really a newsletter, but it's just insights through our perspective and our research that we do on different topics. So be sure to subscribe to that. And it's exciting because it goes straight to your inbox. So
Jeremy C said that Aldrich's looking at what we're going to do for our retirement. So I guess he means that we're going to be like talk show hosts or do live shows for Bottoms Up Perspective in our retirement.
No idea. So for me, I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. So yeah. Anyway, well, I appreciate all of you for joining us tonight. It was fun. And when it comes to relationship, I think it comes down to communication, trust, and respect. If any of those pieces, and this doesn't have to be just marriage, is in friendship, business partnership, employer-employee relationship, once any of those three things is broken, you're going to have issues. Yep. So
Truth.
At the end of the day, remember to trust, respect, and communicate. Talk to each other. Don't start communicating when it's too late, because it doesn't work. When it's already broken, it's very hard to fix, right? Mm-hmm. So, hey, we appreciate you guys tonight. And join Nick and I next week. Nick Nozano. So he had his little baby. So, so he couldn't be live with us for the last couple of weeks, but he's going to be in our next episode, which is 68. And we go talk about food culture. So I love eating. So we go talk a little about food. So look forward to having all of you. And remember, now we have a website. It's BottomsUpPerspective.com. We're trying to build a strong community that truly care about each other. So check out our website. Feel free to connect with us. Eldrick, Jeremy,
that's right.
Jen, connect with any one of us. And Jen, why don't you share with the ladies out there about BUPF?
Yes. So first of all, thank you, Darlene. One of my favorite people here on LinkedIn. So appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you on Saturday on Zoom. Bottoms Up Perspective Female is BUPF. So basically that is in the Bottoms Up Perspective community. It's all of the women who want to join in and be a part. So basically once a month we meet on Zoom. We have a Zoom session. It usually lasts a couple of hours because we have a wonderful time together. So usually we will have a speaker that comes in on a weekly basis and just brings to the table what they are good at, what they are knowledgeable in, and just sharing information or doing different exercises with us. So there's a lot of coaches but it always brings value to us each week. We get to hear people's stories, and we get to interact and just, have conversation as a group. This Saturday, we're meeting at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm excited because this one is just a down week where we just all sit around our tables and drink our favorite drink and just chat, and I'm hoping to have a game or two just for icebreaker. But absolutely love the ladies of BUPF. It's made a huge difference in my life, and just seeing that there are some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people out there that can make a difference in each other's lives, that can uplift and encourage. And I'm just excited. I mean, they're women from all over the world here on LinkedIn. So if you're a woman and you want to have a genuine connection with a group of ladies and just, have a time each month to just plug in and do something different, then we would love to have you.
Yep. Hey, thank you all, folks. And join us back next week. We do our live show every Wednesday. US is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And in Asia is 9 a.m. on Thursday. So we love all of you, and sometimes, I'm guilty. I haven't been as active on social media and making sure I comment and engage, but it's not intentional. It's just I've been busy.
Life is busy, doesn't it?
Yep, and then I got to spend time with the lady here. So anyway, and the fam. So thank you so much. We appreciate every one of you, and thanks for just supporting the Bottoms Up crew. And Eldrick, Jeremy, thanks for all the fun questions, and glad we can answer most of them. So have a good night, have a good morning, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.